Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have the middle race of the round of 16 from Kansas Speedway, where we come in with a 4-point advantage above the cut line. We had our ups and downs in Darlington, but ultimately gave up a couple positions in the very closing moments of that race, and that could, be the difference going into the next episode in the Bristol Motor Speedway episode there for the cutoff race. In real life Kansas, pretty solid race on Sunday. We saw some drama, of course, with the regular season champion of Martin Truex Jr. Now on the outside looking in, which is quite surprising going into Bristol. But nonetheless, ready to roll here for some practice, at least in Kansas, and just getting up to grips again with this car. Mile and a halves haven't been, our strong suit, to say the least, when it comes to this colleague racing program. We do have an announcement at colleague on the way here in the coming episodes, but the more important announcement is here today, and it's actually from Jimmie Johnson, who's in the field for this episode. Jimmie Johnson would break the news this weekend that he will be making his final ever NASCAR Cup Series start this season, and it will take place at Martinsville Speedway, a track that he has had so much success at in the past. You've noticed he's been in a few recent races a bit more often because he is deciding to, of course, wrap his career up now and just focus in on the ownership role as we get qualifying underway. So Johnson in the field today. This will be his last race until his actual last race at Martinsville Speedway as we get to the outside wall here in qualifying. But yeah, there'll be a whole special episode for Jimmie Johnson when we get to Martinsville here as we come through now turn 3 and 4. Just trying to be on that little black seam right there, that one closest to the wall, but the left side's on it. We come through to cross the stripe. It's going to be a 32.048 in this Hollywood Casino 400. That's going to put us P25 on the grid here at this mile and a half oval, kind of right where we expect to be with this colleague racing program. Grant Enfinger back in the car in the 42 and 39th place. Ryan Vargas dead last. Ryan Preece, a playoff contender, way down the order. Jimmie Johnson just outside of the top 30, rounding up the top 10. Ty Gibbs, fellow rookie, of course, and on pole, or the front row in general, Ryan Blaney with Tyler Reddick as well. Reddick missed the playoffs, of course. All of 2311 Racing missed the playoffs with two of their drivers in the top 10 in qualifying. Kurt Busch up there in P7. Truck Series playoffs, Grant Enfinger picked up the victory at Richmond, actually, so a great day for him. We'll take a look, of course, at the grids at the end of the episode for all three series. In the playoff situation, Austin Hill won the regular season finale for the Xfinity Series. I know the real-life Xfinity playoffs start at Bristol, but it doesn't for some reason in the game. It'll be the next episode that it starts. But now it's time to go racing on Sunday.
We're coming to you live from Kansas Speedway for race number 2 of the playoffs and the round of 16. We didn't see any playoff drivers have major issues in Darlington. Do we see that changing today, Steve?
I think so, Rick. Stats show that we see usually over half the playoff grid have some type of issue at this track for whatever reason.
One thing is for sure, that Kevin Harvick is sure glad he won last week after hearing that statistic.
Denny Hamlin, this is Burton up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Jeff.
Well, you're starting from the rear today. What's the expectation change after qualifying yesterday?
Well, Jeff, we have a very fast car, so I expect to be up front by sometime in Stage 2, a top 5 day for sure.
All right, Denny, good luck.
That was Jeff Burton and Denny Hamlin there, you heard. We have a few special paint schemes as well today. Christopher Bell is running a Jimmy Buffett tribute, as well as Kevin Harvick is running special paint schemes for all races in the playoffs. You see the Christopher Bell one on the screen there a few moments ago. You see the Kevin Harvick one not on the screen because he's going to be starting right beside us. So you're going to get a great look at it. Sanox whips up some awesome paint schemes for the first 3 races of the round of 16. He had a throwback one in Darlington. It was actually a throwback that he's ran in real life before. It was that white and black one. But this time you can actually see it because Harvick was in front of us the whole time in Darlington because he won the very first race of the playoffs, actually, in Darlington. He's, of course, coming off 2 consecutive wins. Harvick, 4 wins now in his grand finale season of NASCAR Cup Series competition. Of course, a way better final season than, of course, Kurt Busch has had, who has not won, has not made the playoffs. He is just fighting for trying to pick up some trophies at this point here in these closing races of his Cup Series career. It is official now that 67 car will no longer be full-time going into next season, so 2311 will downgrade to a 2-car team again for full-time. The 67 will then be basically a Project 91 like Trackhouse has, and you saw it, of course, earlier this year in real life with the Kamui Kobayashi at the Indianapolis Road Course. So you will still see that 67 make select starts as well. John Hunter Nemechek, who was originally going into that 67, will be going to the 42 car, which we've already established, of course, now, just like real life, of course, and they will be switching to Toyota. So Eric Jones, John Hunter Nemechek in those 2 cars for next season. Now, all other driver roster changes, announcements will be coming in the off-season video when we get to that point, which will be later, of course, down the line now, about, 9 episodes from now, basically, after the championship race. So, yeah, we've got a nice calm point now from Silly Season News. We got the Jimmie Johnson announcement out of the way, and that's it. We go around the outside there of my teammate of Justin Haley, and we get alongside Eric Almirola. 20 laps in stage 1. William Byron out to an early lead here now. Of course, we saw Blaney and Ty Gibbs up there in the top 10. Tyler Reddick, Larson, Elliott all up there in the mix. Kevin Harvick's moving his way forward here in that number 4. As you can see myself just staying on this outside. Got to stay committed to this 3rd lane. That's the only way I'm going to be fast here, but unfortunately you can see some faster cars. Stenhouse has shown up with some speed here today. Austin Dillon seems to be a little bit speedy. He seems to be kind of being held back right now. Denny Hamlin, who started at the back after failing optical scanning station, moving forward as I'm moving into the outside wall there, so we give up about 1 position basically to the 43 of Eric Jones. So we jump down to P21. Martin Truex Jr. now out in front. Daniel Suarez had been falling backwards. He had a decent qualifying effort, but has been now dropped to 20th place, and then I would pass him as well around the outside. So I take P20 away in these closing laps of stage 1. Now, we are very close on field here for stage 1 to actually making it to the end, so we might see a couple of drivers actually elect to come into the pit lane and give up a lap potentially. We'll have to wait and see in the next few moments now, as you can still see a battle here with Daniel Suarez as we head down this back straightaway. I get the radio message right there, and you see Kozlowski pull to the left. He is going to be coming into the pit lane this time by, so Kozlowski not confident in that 6th team that they can make it to the end of the stage. We gain a spot, the P19, and then a few more coming on the exit of turn 4, but the caution comes out, and this is moments before Brad Kozlowski was going a lap down, so this actually benefits him, and everybody that's in the pit lane right now has benefited quite well. I think Kozlowski is going to be leading for the restart. So Martin Truex Jr. Gets the stage 1 victory, as well as you can see everybody else coming into the pits except for Kozlowski. We're going to be coming in for 4 tires and filling it up, of course, on fuel. Some slight adjustments there, mainly on the grill tape there. So, yeah, we're going to come in P19. We will exit P19. 2 spots lost for Kevin Harvick in the pit lane. Kurt Busch lost some ground as well up there just outside of the top 10. We're back underway here in Kansas now, as it's appearing, I think that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. that's actually leading the way down towards turn number 1, so some strategy there, maybe from the 47, it's hard to tell, but no, it definitely is a 47, so that's, Kozlowski's not the only curveball we have seen. Stenhouse as well, the second one, as we exit turn 2 there. You see that 20 Margaritaville paint scheme there from actually D-Money, whipped that one up in Discord as we continue on. By the way, have got confirmation just on the top of my head, we can actually make the spoilers yellow. I've learned how to do it, so I'm going to start doing it for the round of 12 because I'll have to go back in all the files after the round of 16 to take out some playoff cars and whatnot, so I'm just going to make the switch when we get there, and whoever's remaining in the playoffs will also get the yellow playoff spoilers. When I was messing with playoff spoilers, I came up with an idea, and I'm going to hint towards it now, and this is for next season. I'm going to hint towards it right now, however, but I'm not going to spoil it. You might be able to understand where I'm going with this, though. Denny Hamlin on his podcast, Actions Detrimental, several months ago, earlier in the season, came up with a really cool idea for a little summer segment of the NASCAR summer season, basically. Now, if you remember, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, you're going to have to wait and find out. But I want to implement what he was talking about into this career mode, and that will see then red, I think, windshield banners or something on the car. But stay tuned. That is, next season news. Here we are continuing to make this outside where Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott down the order, Keselowski and Stenos, they had been kind of falling down the order, holding up some cars as they were on that different strategy, of course, and that was helping me get up towards the top 15. Going around the outside of the 6th car right here on the exit of turn 4, we will be able to take P14, but we would kind of flatline right here. Ross Chastain out to the lead. Chastain had such a hot start to the season. He's really cooled down as of late, but when you come to these mile and a halves, Chastain is such a threat as we continue in 14th place, about halfway now through this second stage, and I was closing towards the cars behind me, but the caution's gonna fly here with about these final 10 laps underway in stage 2, so nobody is gonna pit this time because we all, with this caution, can make it. I say nobody's gonna pit, but Martin Truex Jr. has decided to come in, and so has Eric Jones in the 43, and nobody else. So just those 2 drivers are going to come in. Ryan Vargas was the reason for the caution with the 3 Friends racing car. He is out of the race, unfortunately, now. So I think that's his second race in the Cup Series and second DNF in the Cup Series. Not a hot start for 3 Friends Racing and Ryan Vargas's Cup Series career. We are back underway here on the same tires. Ross Chastain leads the way down towards turn 1, but Martin Truex Jr. with a baffling call starts from the back here after winning stage 1. Can he work his way back forward towards the top? I would say 20 would be a realistic objective. Look at that. Austin Dillon, if you paid attention there on the TV camera, Austin Dillon is up front and making a move to the inside of Chastain for the lead through 3 out of turn 4, and sure enough, you see it on the track map, that number 3 to the lead in Kansas, a non-playoff driver trying to pick up the victory way too early in the race, of course, to really get an idea of what kind of pace that 3 car has, but we talked about it earlier. He looked a little speedy, as you can see myself migrating back up to the top. This is the only place I have speed at Kansas, no matter how good of a car I have. Even in a 5-star car, the only place to be fast in Kansas in NASCAR Heat 5 is right up here, as close as you can be to the wall. As we come through 3 and 4, trying to not get too close to the wall, but we catch it again. That's the second time today. We're going to give up a couple spots. Keselowski, Briscoe, and Bowman right here, and you can see the momentum loss would carry on all the way down towards turn 1. The 67 of Kurt Busch goes around us as well. Austin Dillon continues to lead as we're all over the back of this 14 of Chase Briscoe down towards turn 1. Going to lunge one up the inside. I was tired of trying to make that outside work as it was getting a bit difficult, so I got a little bit aggressive. Going to lean on this 14, but he'll stay clear on the exit of turn 2, and then I'm going to throw a big block here on playoff contender of Daniel Suarez now. As you can see in the background, he continues to fight with the 20. How about Christopher Bell having a rough day here after winning the regular season championship? So many wins in the regular season, so strong, and it's been a bit of a slow start to the playoffs for that number 20 team here. Now on the final lap of stage 2, a move to the inside. No, I actually helped the 6 that drove over the back of him, so I give him a speed boost. Austin Dillon out of turn 4 is going to win stage 2. Is he going to be a shock winner here today? We'll have to wait and see. One more stage remains at P16 for us in stage 2, which isn't great. It's not going to do us any favors in the points situation. However, that was quite an improvement, I felt like, from where we were earlier in the race in stage 1. I'd say we only just need to loosen it up a bit. The car isn't that bad.
Yep, 10-4 on that will get you loosened up a bit.
Now, to mainly loosen it up, we're actually going after some tire pressure adjustments, which don't make a huge difference, and I wasn't looking for a huge difference here. Wedge is going to be potential maybe for the next stop, depending on how this one goes, because we do need to pit at least one more time. Green flag pit stops or under yellow, either one. Green flag pit stops haven't been very common this season, but we're back underway here from lap 43 going to 44 of 67. Suarez, Bell on the row behind us. Martin Truex Jr. really didn't make up a lot of ground after that last restart, so he's got a lot of ground now to make up in this final stage of this Hollywood Casino 400, as the pack of cars here is led by the non-playoff driver of Austin Dillon. That black windshield banner, of course, signifying that they are not in the playoffs here as we come through 3 and 4. Already up to that third lane. These restarts and the fresh tires is where we're really able to make this third lane work for us in this number 16 Top Golf colleague Chevrolet Camaro. As the race goes on, or as the run goes on, the tires wear. It just gets harder and harder to make momentum up here. But when we're on fresh tires, we can just haul the mail on this third lane. You're seeing it again to the outside of that Castrol Edge machine. I love that 6 car. One of the best paint schemes of the year, in my opinion. RFK always shows up with some banger schemes. Anyone notice they've started putting their sponsors right by the headlights as well now? Kind of almost like GT car style. Looks really, really cool as well, I think. I love seeing just a little bit more innovation and creativity from some of these Cup teams. Denny Hamlin, I don't know how he got behind us. Looks like a bad pit stop in the 11 camp, but he has moved forward already up to 14th, and well, there's his teammate Martin Truex Jr. In my rear view mirror, I see him coming up the inside. Of course, Truex coming back for at least one more season of Cup Series competition in both real life and the Heat 5 career mode, so we know he will get to fight for a championship at least one more time if it doesn't work out this season for that 19 car. Austin Dillon continues to lead. Can he be taken down? It's Chastain Blaney trailing him second and third. Byron Logano as well in the top 5 as we're to the outside of the Fastenal machine of Chris Buescher. Definitely RFK going to be getting a performance buff going into next season of this career mode. Of course, both drivers in the playoffs IRL, none of them in the playoffs here in the career mode. Similar to 2311 Racing situation. Both those teams I think need a buff. But as the storyline goes on, you will see teams get better, some teams get worse. That's the best part about this career mode, as a caution comes out moments after I go to make a move on the inside of the 17. I was actually trying to slide job him as you see Dillon continues to lead the race. Everybody coming in. This should be the final pit stop right here. We are going to not do 4 tires because if we do 4 tires, we're going to drop to dead last. We're going to do a can of fuel, 2 right side tires, and as well more grill tape, and this time a bit of a wedge adjustment from a 50.0 to a 49.8. Not a huge difference, but I'm not looking for a big difference. The car overall is pretty good, but not great. 1 position gained in the pit lane. We'll get back underway from Kansas Speedway. Unfortunately, not a single replay came up of any of the cautions today, unfortunately, but we continue on with these 14 final laps underway. In the background, who is that? Suarez maybe behind us there with a rough start, as we're going to go up the inside of the 14 of Briscoe here through 1 and 2, up the inside of Kurt Busch as well. That's Stenhouse in the blue car, not Suarez in our rear view mirror, but here we go. Kurt Busch in his final start at Kansas Speedway, of course, side by side into turn 3. Austin Dillon continues to lead. His crew got the job done and kept him out in front there as we're pushing up the track on the exit of turn 4. Nearly some contact, maybe a little bit there with the 67. That opened the door for the 47 of Stenhouse to slip through on the inside. He is moving forward quickly as we saw a bit of speed out of that 47 earlier in the race, so no shock to see Stenhouse having one of the best runs of the season for that 4017 up the track again, and this is why I like to run the top, because I'm so bad on the inside. Harvick here as well, moving his way forward. A rough day for that 4 team, of course, after winning the last 2 races at Daytona and Darlington, and here he is today, not even in the top 10, I don't think, at any point in this race. Now 11 laps to go. That 3 continues out in front, but we are continuing to struggle. Here comes the 17 of Chris Buescher up the inside, and I'm surprised that we're struggling as much as we are on the 2 tires. So it's like, should we have given up the track position to maybe get 4 tires and try to grind our way back forward? I don't know which option would have been better for the positions at this point, honestly, but we continue on and just try to hang on to the end of this race now. So P18 with less than 10 laps to go, nearly into the outside wall right there on the exit of turn 2. But now the caution comes out again on lap, 62.7 to go in this race. Dylan Hamlin's up to second. Blaney, Chastain, Logano, Kyle Busch rounding up the top 10 with Larson and Reddick just behind. And if we end up in about this 18th or so position when we take the checkered flag, this is going to put us in a rough spot in the playoff situation. We might be below the cut line following today's race, so we got to fight for every position possible. We're back underway, 3 laps to go, and Austin Dillon still in command. He has led every lap since he took the lead earlier in stage 2 and won that second stage. As we head down into 1, side by side, we got the RFK duo of Buescher and Keselowski behind us. It's our teammate of Haley, of course, in our final 9 races as a teammate with Justin Haley before he makes that full-time move to Rick Ware Racing, as they will have a alliance with the RFK team. Roush Fenway Mike Keselowski. So we expect to see some improvements from Rick Ware Racing, not of course to a point where they're going to be a playoff contender, but it'll be interesting to see long term, 3 seasons into this career mode, 4 seasons in if we get that far, if the support's there, from the community. If that series keeps going, it'll be interesting to see where they get. But 2 laps to go on the far outside, down to 20th place. Jones is moving his way forward. We hold off the 34 down the back straightaway. Dillon continues to lead to the final lap here in Kansas. White flag in the air. The race is official now as we close in on the back of these 2 drivers side by side. Harvick on the top, Keselowski on the bottom. A shot to the back of the Ford, trying to move him forward as I try to set these guys up for a move down into turn 3, but we got to be close enough. The goal is to go to the inside, but immediately I could tell not going to be close enough here. So P20 is going to be the best we can do unless we get really lucky. No pressure from behind. McDowell, Suarez too far back. Suarez looks to the inside of the 34 out of turn 4. Austin Dillon is going to win here in Kansas as we drag race to the line with the 4. Austin Dillon thrilled. You hear it on the radio with his first win since the regular season finale back at Daytona in 2022, and the whole rain debacle and him avoiding it and the chaos after when they went green like 3 hours later. Christopher Bell, I don't know what happened to him. He ended up 32nd. I have to wonder if he was maybe one of the late race cautions with a finish that bad. Priest in 36. And we are not in a good spot in the playoff situation, even after a mediocre day. Look at this. 3 points below the cut line. It's going to be myself and Suarez. McDowell 11 back could still point his way in. He's going to need a really good day. Priest and Cindric realistically need to win. And then Logano too far ahead unless he has an issue realistically. So it's really between myself and Suarez to fight for the final spot to advance into the round of 12. And we look at the track. It's Bristol, a track where we run very solid at, and Daniel Suarez doesn't. He's got a terrible track record when it comes to short track racing. So unfortunately, I have to knock my favorite driver out of the playoffs to move on, but I'm feeling pretty confident that that's going to happen. We only need to beat him, by the 3 spots. So I think we can do that. I think we can be ahead of him in points by the end of stage 1, to be completely honest. Who knows? He could show up with the speed. We'll have to wait and see. That's going to wrap it up for us. I'll see you guys in the next one for the round of 16 elimination race at Bristol for a head-off or a face-off against Daniel Suarez.